In a few days, we're going to celebrate Christmas. One of the questions I'd like you to meditate on today is, why do we celebrate Christmas? What's so important about Christmas? Well, it's the birth of the Savior. Okay, but what does that mean? In order to help you, let's go back to the first reading. David is now king. He's built his palace. And one leisurely afternoon, he discovers or he finds out, wait a minute, I'm sitting in this palace, and God, the Ark of the Covenant, it's outside in a tent. That's not right. I know, I'll build a temple. I'll build a proper dwelling place for God. And it was at this point that God came to David and says, David, I like the sentiment, but I don't need a building. I don't need something that's going to fall apart in a couple hundred years. I'm eternal. I created you. I gave you everything. So this is what I'm going to do. Instead of building a temple for me, the temple that I'm going to build for you is a dynasty. It is going to be through you and through your family line that's going to be my home. And one day, there's going to arise a king. And he's going to be the embodiment of all that I am. He's going to be your king who will embody all that you are. And it is thus with that piece of information that we come to Mary and the angel. The angel came to Mary and says, Mary, you're going to have a son. And he is going to be named Jesus, which means God saves. He is the one that was promised from of old. And it is through you, who will be his temple, that he will be born and bring my people back to where they're supposed to be. Okay, so we have Mary accepting God's role for her. Why? Beyond the fact that she was a dutiful follower of God, beyond the fact that she received a heavenly visitation, beyond all that, she understood what her child would be. The child would not bring fame and glory. It wouldn't bring riches of this world, gold or silver. It would bring holiness. We celebrate Christmas because of that promise from God. We celebrate Christmas because of why Mary said hello and why Mary said yes. We celebrate Christmas because we are reminded that God is with us, that God lives not just in the line of David, but in what Mary herself represents, the church. We celebrate Christmas to remind ourselves that in the passing of time, God is with us, God has been with us, and God will always be with us in His church. Christmas is a reminder of that. If we are God peoples then, let me ask you this. When we celebrate Christmas, do we celebrate it as a civil holiday with all the human presence or all the money that we spend? Or do we celebrate it as God's people? If God lives on in the church, like Mary, are you a good temple? Does Christ live in your hearts? Celebrate Christmas then, knowing that God is with you here. Like Mary, say yes to God's presence. Like Mary and the church before us, let God live, not in a building of stone, but in a heart of love. Until He comes again, we are His temple. May it be filled with one of grace and faithfulness.